How did the acquisition take place, and what sort of things have you done to get noticed?
So this is actually an interesting question, primarily because it's not we kind of as a company and as a startup and as an entrepreneur, I think thinking of the exit as part of building your company and optimizing for an exit is kind of the wrong way to think about how to grow your company. At the end of the day, you need to create value and you need to build a business and build a company and do whatever is necessary to build your brand and build your business. And then an exit will happen to come along the way, as opposed to us optimizing for an exit. So in the particular case of Google, they actually just reached out. They were looking for smart people that understood the mobile social space and were doing interesting and exciting things. And we were just aggressively pursuing it, and it just literally came out of the blue. And, you know, when you get a phone call, hey, this is Google, we're interested in talking to you and learning more about what we're doing. I mean, you say, yes, of course. What do you want? Wow. um, so, so, um, but the kind of the key point, we were kind of a young startup. And like any startup, the key idea is, in order to get noticed, is it's not about looking for someone to exit with. It's about getting people to notice your business. So it's basically networking, networking, networking. I mean, that's kind of a core business concept. If you're a young startup, you have no brand, no one's heard of you. It's all about essentially trying to build user value. Mm-hmm. Or customer value, depending on the vertical. And then the second part is reaching out and just not being so secretive about anything that you're doing, especially when you're a startup, so that people look at you and think of you as a potential target when they're in the mindset. So that's kind of one point. The other point is we were kind of in a space where there was a lot of attention. The mobile social space in 2007 was very, very hot. Almost all the social networks were figuring out trying to figure out how to become part of mobile. Dodgeball was a big exit, I think, I think in 2000, 2005, 2006. And usually, typically, when you see technology, large vendors getting into certain spaces, a lot of their competitors a lot of their big competitors, for example, if Microsoft enters a field or Google enters a field, all the other competitors tend to start saying, well, how can we enter the same field? There's some validation that there is something there. And one of the ways that happens is if they don't have an internal investment, they look for an acquisition. So that's kind of how I think we got discovered. We were in a very interesting space. We weren't quiet. We happened to be networking with the right people, and we just got on their radar. We got on their short list.
And how long did the process take from the point that they picked up the phone till they closed the deal?
Yeah, I can't disclose a lot of the details of the process, but I'll just say Google's very thorough with their acquisitions. The whole team was interviewed. Every piece of paper, every legal piece of paper was thoroughly examined. And there's a lot of talking, and this was also at a time when Google hadn't done a lot of acquisitions. Mm-hmm. So even though we were a smaller acquisition relative to something like, we went through a pretty rigorous acquisition process. I don't know if it's changed. But Google is very thorough and is very serious about their acquisitions, because it's not just about the acquisition, making sure there's a good team fit. There's matching visions about how one would approach the acquisition. And there's a lot of details to be sorted out, especially when you've got investors.